So first we will see the structure of a VAD. VAD is this is the first generation. It is having stator machine and a rotor magnet. So rotor means it rotating one according to the stator action. Okay, and here when rotor rotates, it will provide the pressure over the tube. By that way, that blood flow it will be improve its flow rate with the help of this arrangement. Here they are using the diaphragm and plug, another one a pusher table. So these are all used to push the blood into the aorta. So here this important improvement in VAD design over the course of time have resulted in several changes to the mechanism. With these changes, the VAD can be generally categorized into three generations based on output characteristics and the mechanism that generates the output flow. So first generation, this is the first generation. You are seeing that it is having a flowing bearing and a pump chamber, pusher plate, diaphragm. This is stator. Here is electronic commutator, main bearing and motor magnet. Okay. So this one it's a help to pump the blood into the aorta. So the name of this first generation is called Hartmate XVE Thorotech Corporation 2009. So here the first generation at the dawn of VAD is developed the pump designer attempt to recapitulate the pulse flow characteristics of native art resulting in positive displacement pump design, which is usually had a moving diaphragm that could be moved to increase the internal pump volume during the filling or diastole phase, and which compress to eject the blood during the systolic phase. These types of VAD had a major drawbacks in its reliability and lifespan as the result of complicated drive mechanism and were on repeatedly moving parts like a valve, membrane, bearings are a disadvantage to this VAD. Moreover, it also had a high risk of causing thrombosis, hemolysis and post-operative component that are used to generate the flow direction, and also had a risk of causing blood cell trauma. With the risk of these device, complications are more. This pulsated pump required changing frequently and was not a preferable option for long-term support. Some example of a first generation machine pumps are: first one is Hartmate XVE, second one is Biomet AB5000, third one is Meadows HAV VAD, fourth one is Berlin Hart XCOR, fifth one is Thorotech PVAD. So second generation is called gyro pump. The gyro pump is having the impeller, another one is housing. So inflow, another one is outflow. So inflow, it will produce the pressure to the aorta, outflow it's retrieve the pressure. So here by that way the impeller it will rotates. So when it's rotate, the rotating motion it will produce pressure and the blood flow rate will be increased. So here second type also it is called a Micromed DPK pump. Here it is having a straightener, impeller, stator and a diffuser. So here the second generation VAD was in a response to a request issued by the NHLBI in 1994 for an implementable VAD that has a better durability and a wider applicability. Here the continuous flow of pump then become an interesting option for many developers and researchers, with the advantage of smaller design and better reliability and lower power consumption also available in second generation, and despite the remaining concern over the long term effect of lack of pulsating, that is the advantage. So therefore the rotatory device such as a centrifugal and axial flow pump can be provide a continuous flow rate which is evaluated to replace the displacement type of VAD. These rotatory pumps operate using an impeller rotating at high speed to build up the pressure within the pump's wallet and pushes the blood through the outlet port. With this structure, the components that are exposed to repeating the forces like the diaphragm and pump valve were no longer needed for such kind of arrangement, so that the life of pumps was greatly improved. However, the drawbacks of pump in a second generation is that rotating part is operated on the shaft, which is need to connect to the motor or actuator outside the pump chamber, so that it requires a bearing to transfer the torque and sails to prevent the leakage. But these components are susceptible to exposure to high shear force, which in the long term use and also could causes a problem such as leaking seal. Another one is a gastrointestinal bleeding and also red blood cell damage. Therefore, it has a limit of lifespan to the pump. The pump from second generation is still the most common blood pump which is available in a clinical usage, and also it is generally based on either centrifugal or axial pump structure. So example for second generation pumps are HotMate 2, Micromate, DPACI and gyro pumps. Third generation, the third generation pump is a hot-wear HVAD pump. Third generation VAD development was for the device that is able to permanently support the hot, and therefore hot pump is expected to have a life expectancy at least 2 years, and which increase the durability of a rotatory pump. And also they developed focused on removing the seals and bearing which are vulnerable to damage under the ICS forces on prolonged applications. Several designs of both centrifugal and axial flow pump or magnetically driven pumps were proposed on the hydraulic and magnetic bearing concept, which has a hope that they would provide enough suspension forces to keep the rotor elevated within the chamber and also eliminate all the mechanical contacts in order to reduce the mechanical wear as well as the shear stress. And it is also extended on the red blood cells, and hence it improves the hemolysis performance and increases the lifetime for the pump's long term support. So there are many issues that still causes problem for hot pumps in this generation. The major problems that are related directly to the pump mechanism design and or it damage the blood from the shear stress, and also damage the blood clot, which provides a blood clot also, which still a problem in the long term. In this, despite the pump having been generally improved from the previous generation. Moreover, of these issues will be covered in a later session of this generation. Other problems are related to the controlling power and unit cost also. All the current wire or require a drive line that connected to the control unit and power supply outside the body. This exposed driven line often causes infections that becomes fatal in many causes. So another issue is high power consumption of this wire, which is an issue especially when the current aim of pump is to provide long-term support. Currently each battery can last for only 4 to 6 hours. Example, hardware ventricular system instrument, and it needs to be a replacement and recharged frequently, which is not effective for uses in a daily life. The high cost of long-term blood pump is also an issue that limits the accessibility of the device to the patients. Example for the third generation pumps that are available in the market, name is called, one is hardware HVAD, second one is Thoratec Centrimac, third one is Mighty Heart, fourth one is by VA Car, fifth one is Duro Heart, sixth one is Incor, and seventh one is Heartmate 3. Now we will go for a classification of wire based on the pump. Here there is two types of wire based on pump structure. First one is called the axial flow pump wire. Second one is called the centrifugal pump. First we will discuss about the axial pump. So here the axial pumps contain straightener, impeller, starter and diffuser. So these straightener, it provides a flow path to the blood. Another impeller, it's a rotating movement through the stator and rotor. It will diffuse the blood into the aorta. So the structure of these axial flow pump have been manufactured by Micromed DeBakey. The name of the pump is axial blood pump. So the axial flow pump is operated by an axial propeller type, which is one of the type of impeller running in a straight pipe, which causing flow the fluid in and to be discharged axially. With this design characteristics, the axial flow pump is suitable for low head and high capacity pumping applications, while the axial rotor structures also makes it is possible for these types of pump to achieve a more compact design that is suitable for a wired application in exchange for a higher operating speed. The typical operating speed of an axial flow hot pump is at the rate of designed flow rate, which ranges around 6,000 to 12,000 RPM speed, and the speed can exist up to 30,000 RPM in the miniature designs. The advantage of axial flow pump is it is a compact size of. Another one, it can allows the implementation to less intrusive with the low trauma of implementation, while it's also easy to be designed and also implementation for a pediatric uses. In addition, the axial pump also has a less power consumption, which means the power supply could be smaller and lighter. Thus, it will be more comfortable for patient to wear it on the daily basis. The disadvantage of axial flow pump, which operates at a very high speed, so that it could lead to excessive shear stress and causes hemolysis of red blood cells, and also in addition to drive mechanism, which is prone to higher stress and heat can be generated, so that lifespan could be shorter. The stationary diffuser guide varies that usually require controlling the axial positions of the impeller, create a vulnerable region for thrombus formation. Second type pump is called a centrifugal pump. Here it is having a suction inlet, eye opening path, and third one is a radial outlet. So here the gas can be exit by the discharge exit. Impeller provides a rotating movement, by that way pressure have been created. So this is called basic structure of centrifugal pump. So here the centrifugal pump is comprised of an impeller and a spiral casing. It is having spiral chasing. The impeller is a disc with a series of blades attached to it, where the number of designs of blades vary, but basically they are designed to curve to the opposite side of the rotating direction. During the operation, the inflow fluid flows into the section inlet, which is normally located at the eye of the impeller. Then inflow fluid will be exposed to the centrifugal force generated by the rotating impeller, which pushes the fluid circumferentially through the various between the impeller blades and the accelerated fluid, which flows along curved path, so that the spiral housing and which passes through discharge outlet. The advantage of centrifugal pump: as a blood pump, the centrifugal pump has a good efficiency, so that it could provide a high head pressure at a low flow rate under the relatively low operating speed, typically around 2000 to 4000 rpm. This means that low shear stress is exerted on the red blood cells, and there is a lower chances of hemolysis. In addition, this type of pump is also less susceptible to the mechanical wear due to its lower operating speed. The main disadvantage of the spiral pump: here the spiral housing of centrifugal pump is invariably larger than the cylindrical, which causing an axial pump, which makes it harder to implant within the patient's abdomen, especially in the person who has a small body or in children. In addition, the large housing combined with the larger impeller result in more weight and consumes more power to drive the pump. Thank you for listening. We'll see